You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Julia Wiegand. COVID-19 cases are still on the rise in Hazleton. The city's taking every precaution to keep residents safe, which includes enacting a curfew. WYLN's Julie Stefanovich spoke with Hazleton Mayor Jeff Cassat today and has more.
Hazleton Mayor Jeff Cassat enacted a curfew that went into effect at 8 p.m. Saturday night in order to protect the health of residents. The curfew runs from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m., where no one is allowed on the streets except for workers whose jobs are deemed as essential. We spoke with Mayor Cassat about how people are adhering to the curfew.
There was 117 contacts made with individuals throughout the evening. Most were between the hours of 8 and 8:30, coming home from a grocery store. We did make some contacts with people traveling for work and home from work. Then we also did run into some people with food deliveries, Uber Eats and Grubhub, which are not allowed.
As of today, Luzerne County has over 800 cases, with over 700 reported in the Hazleton area. The mayor fears that the numbers will spike within the next few weeks.
Right now, we're still in the testing phase. We are well over 700 cases in the Hazleton area here. There's still hundreds of cases of tests that are out waiting for results to come back, and people continue to get tested every day to the point where a third facility in the city of Hazleton may be needed to be open. So I don't expect it to stop within 2 to 3 weeks minimum of the number of positive cases increasing.
The Hazleton Police Department has been patrolling the streets with the assistance from the Luzerne County Sheriff's deputies to watch out for violators.
You get stopped from a police officer or a sheriff, it's going to be up to their discretion to either cite you, give you a warning, or let you go. So we're not here to really hurt anybody. We're just trying to make everybody safe.
Cassat says that most people are in compliance and his curfew is enforceable for 5 days.
According to third-class city code, I am allowed to use 5 days. At the end of the 5 days, City Council will review the information and make a decision on whether or not to continue it and for how long it should be continued. I expect that City Council will extend it. I'm hoping that they extend it. And we're all here to make the city safer.
Mayor Cassat has advice for staying safe.
The most important thing right now for Hazleton is the social distancing. The study that was done by Lehigh Valley Hospital is that 82% of the people are not social distancing. And at that rate, we're going to continue to increase and double every several days until the virus stops hopping from person to person.
Currently, Freeland, Hazel Township, West Hazleton, McAdoo, and Whitehaven also have curfews in effect. In Hazleton, for WYLN News, I'm Julie Stefanovich.
Thanks, Julie. The mayor of McAdoo issued an emergency proclamation in an effort to protect residents from the spread of the virus. Mayor Dane Watrow signed the declaration today that goes into effect immediately. The curfew begins at 8 p.m. until 6 a.m., prohibiting residents from being on public streets, driving around, and gathering at any public place. Gatherings of 4 or more people, unless of immediate family members, are not allowed in public places at any time throughout the day. All individuals must keep a distance of 6 feet apart when outside their homes. Also, starting this evening at 8 p.m., the borough of Whitehaven will be putting a curfew into effect as well. Only essential employees will be allowed to leave their homes to go to work. 22 employees at a mountaintop food production facility were diagnosed with COVID-19. However, a company official says there's no evidence of an outbreak at the facility itself. Mission Foods received confirmation that 22 of its 510 employees at its Crestwood Industrial Park facility tested positive for COVID-19 over the last week. None of those 22 employees have been back at the facility since. Most of the facility's employees reside in Hazleton or within Luzerne County, both of which have been recently dealing with a spike of COVID-19 cases. Now, just as with hospital employees, first responders are also in need of personal protective gear on the front lines of the health crisis. Police departments, firefighters, and emergency medical technicians could use items like latex gloves, masks, hand sanitizers, and disinfectant wipes. Many businesses have stepped up to the plate to donate the much-needed supplies to local municipalities. Another way to help the men and women working hard to protect their communities is to just play it safe and stay home. They could also contact their local stations to find out what they're most in need of in order to donate. A Wilkes-Barre woman was struck by gunfire during an altercation Saturday night. Police responded to 212 McLean Street, where they found a woman who sustained an apparent gunshot wound. Now, according to authorities, the victim's boyfriend agreed to meet with another man on McLean Street for a fight. 4 men showed up, and shots were fired in the direction of the man and woman. She was taken to an area hospital for treatment, but her condition is not known at this time. The suspects fled on foot, and police are asking anyone with information to call Wilkes-Barre Police at 570-208-4200. A Whitehaven man was fatally shot over the weekend in Carbon County. 50-year-old Robert Lee Jones Jr. was involved in a fight in Lucerne Township Saturday night, where he was shot and killed. State police at Hazleton are currently investigating the shooting and said this is an isolated incident and no immediate threat to the public. A family was left homeless following a Saturday morning fire in Pottsville. Fire crews were called around 3:30 a.m. to a working structure fire at 533 East Norwegian Street. The home was heavily engulfed in flames, as numerous fire departments were on scene battling the blaze. Officials believe a space heater may have contributed to the fire. It's currently under investigation. An incident in Butler Township left one man dead. An 87-year-old man was working on a car in Butler Township when it fell on him. His body was found by a neighbor. His identity has not been released at this time, pending notification of his family. A report from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention revealed some of the most vulnerable areas for the coronavirus in Luzerne County. People living in a southwest Hazleton neighborhood near Beach Street Playground are said to be most vulnerable. Numerous factors play a role in the social vulnerability, including low incomes, language barriers, overcrowded homes, and lack of access to transportation. Other neighborhoods are included on the CDC's index. 9 are in Wilkes-Barre, 4 are in Hazleton and West Hazleton, and Wilkes-Barre Township, Edwardsville, and Plymouth each have 1. Susquehanna Steam Electric Station nuclear power plant saw its first positive virus case over the weekend. A contractor who worked at the plant last month tested positive for COVID-19 on Saturday and is in self-quarantine. According to Talon Energy, who owns and operates the plant near Berwick, 7 people who came in contact with the man also went into self-quarantine as a precaution. None have shown symptoms. Susquehanna Steam Electric Station is one of the largest employers in Luzerne County, employing nearly 900 people. Coming up on Wyln News, the state of Pennsylvania makes some more COVID-19 changes. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
My name is Alexander Vinoho. I'm 12 years old, and this is your Wyln forecast for the week.
CARES is a local and family-owned agency dedicated to providing exceptional services for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities throughout Pennsylvania. CARES specializes in day and residential services, respite, home and community, behavior supports, and chaperone vacations. At CARES, the participants are the VIPs. CARES, empowering individuals to maximize their opportunities and potential in their community.
S.J. Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call S.J. Kowalski at 570-455-2600. Wyln presents Community Update on Coronavirus. Monday through Friday live at 3 p.m. with rebroadcasts at 7 p.m. and 10 a.m. the following morning. Brought to you by the Lehigh Valley Health Network, PBS 39, Adams Outdoor, and Wyln. We're your local network.
An emergency fund was set up in the Diocese of Scranton to help parishes and school families during the COVID-19 crisis. Bishop Joseph Bambera announced the Coronavirus Emergency Fund that'll allow individuals to financially support any parish in the diocese, assist public ministries that operate food pantries, or provide emergency tuition assistance for diocesan Catholic school families. Bambera said due to the suspension of masses, parishes and the diocese now face the increased risk of financial shortfalls. Interested donors can make donations to the Coronavirus Emergency Fund at dioceseofscranton.org, or gifts can be mailed to 300 Wyoming Avenue, Scranton, PA 18503. The pandemic continues to send shockwaves through our national and local economy. Unemployment claims continue to skyrocket, adding up to major problems for unemployment compensation. According to the State Department of Labor and Industry, around 13,000 Pennsylvanians would apply for unemployment compensation each week before the pandemic. In the past 3 weeks, that number spiked to nearly 400,000 claims filed per week. Now, as a result of the recently passed federal rescue legislation, unemployment compensation is available to business owners that don't pay into the unemployment fund. The state's unemployment system will likely get worse before it gets better. New standards were put into place regarding cleaning large buildings that remain open in the Commonwealth. Dr. Rachel Levine's order applies to buildings at least 50,000 square feet and requires building owners to maintain usual cleaning and follow the nation's CDC guidelines to routinely clean and disinfect areas often touched. That includes warehouses, factories, offices, airports, grocery stores, government facilities, hotels, colleges, universities, and residential buildings with 50 or more units. Building owners must also make sure there's enough workers to perform the cleaning properly, while security should be sufficient to control access, keep order, and enforce social distancing. Americans brace themselves for the hardest and saddest week yet, while Britain takes the lead as the deadliest virus hotspot in Europe. This comes after a record 24-hour jump in deaths that even surpassed Italy's. Prime Minister Boris Johnson was hospitalized 10 days after testing positive for COVID-19 in what his office described as a precautionary step. However, the number of people dying appear to be slowing in New York City, Spain, and Italy, but it's still too early to tell. The U.S. continues to wait for its big peak. According to Johns Hopkins University, more than 1.2 million people worldwide were confirmed infected, while nearly 70,000 have died. Walmart continues to serve their communities while getting Americans the food, medicine, and supplies they need during these tough times. In recent weeks, Walmart's taken steps like expanding its paid leave policies, closing stores overnight for cleanings and restockings, installing sneeze guards and social distance markers in stores, beginning temperature checks, and making gloves and masks available to associates who want them. Starting Saturday, Walmart will limit the number of customers who can be in a store at once. Stores will now allow no more than 5 customers for each 1,000 square feet at a given time, roughly 20% of the store's capacity. Once a store reaches capacity, customers will be admitted inside on a one-in, one-out basis. Coming up on Partysville's News Choice, we talk with a local book author and community in you. Plus, a tiger tests positive, so stay with us.
Coronavirus is now in our community and changing the way we live, but rest assured that your partners at Lehigh Valley Health Network are here for you. If you think that you have coronavirus or been exposed to someone who does, the most important thing you can do is stay home. Lehigh Valley Health Network is providing free screenings online and by phone. Complete an e-visit, call the MyLVHN hotline, or do an LVHN video visit. Know the symptoms, get the facts, and get screened from home at lvhn.org/COVID-19.
Hey guys, this is Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander at Buick Cadillac GMC. How about a great lease on these Buick Encores? Only $199 a month with breakaway mirrors. For $100 more, you can have the Sierra or the Acadia. Or would you prefer this all-new CT5? And it's tax match fever. We'll match your tax refund up to $1,000. And if you're not getting one, we'll give you a $1,000 trade assistance. So get down to Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazelton, take advantage of these lease deals, get yourself a Sierra, and see why we take the deals the other guys won't.
Have your event with Whitetail, graduation, birthday, bachelor, reunion parties? They have the most tranquil backyard experience with beautiful mountains in the background. If your company or business wants a different alternative to a golf outing, they have outings that can accommodate you. You can have the entire facility to yourself. They will work with you to set up your day of events. Sporting clay competitions, trap and wobble trap games, skeet. After a day of shooting, you'll return to a meal designed for you. Call Mike at 570-535-6123 for available group options.
Did you know that WYLN News provides news updates every weekday afternoon
At 1, 3, and 5 here on TV and on social media?
Did you also know you can watch WYLN News on the go by visiting our website or YouTube page?
Now more than ever,
WYLN is your local news leader.
welcome to Community and You here on WYLN. I'm Julia Wiegand, and with us today we have a local author, Sarah Isaac Samuel, who has written a very powerful book with a very powerful message. Now, from what I've read on it, your book tackles childhood abuse and trauma and neglect. So, yes. And I'm about to pick up a copy myself because I've heard nothing but great things about your book.
Oh, thank you.
So, give us a little bit of a background on what inspired you to put the story on paper.
What inspired me was I actually went on a missions trip to Greece and Bulgaria, and we were helping out gypsy families. And when I got there, I was asked to share my story, and in doing so, it just kind of opened up the opportunity for me to finally have a voice of what happened to me in my childhood. And then when I came back, I submitted just a little tiny article to a friend's magazine, and it was actually published. And when it was published, a publishing company actually contacted me and asked me when I was writing my story. And I thought it was a joke, but it wasn't. And lo and behold, 6 years later, I finally finished my book.
Now, 6 years, it probably took a lot out of you to write a book so powerful.
It did, because I wasn't even sure what I was going to be writing about. And what happened was, as I wrote, memories started coming back, and I had to process and heal through each one of those steps, and find forgiveness for the person who did what they did to me. And because we've covered everything in the book, from physical abuse to sexual abuse to rape. We cover torture and sex trafficking, and there's even a portion in there where it covers an abortion that I was forced to have as a teenager.
People keep calling because they are inspired by your story and they can relate to your story.
Yes.
And I'm assuming those were some of your goals, your mindset coming into putting your story on paper.
Yes. What I find is there are so many people, no matter what state I go to, there are so many people who have similar situations that have happened to them, and they come up to me constantly and they just keep saying, thank you for sharing your story, because they don't have a voice yet.
Now, is it too much to ask, sharing a little bit of more detail on your book? I know I don't want to give too much away about the book.
Well, like I mentioned, there is all types of abuse. And as a child, I did end up in foster care. And so if there's anybody out there who's just even thinking about doing foster care, considering it, there are so many children who have been abused physically, sexually, mentally, and there are lots of opportunities in Pennsylvania. Locally, I think there's Brandon's Forever Home. That would be a good place to contact. There is a foundation called BAIR Foundation. It's spelled B-A-I-R. It's a Christian foster care agency. Bethany Christian Foster Care Agency, Catholic Social Services. I mean, there's a lot of them. And you can even contact your local county agency to become foster parents. But there's definitely a need for foster parents. And then I think one of the hardest things I talk about on my trips is the sex trafficking, because people just don't seem to be familiar with what is really going on in today's society. Right. And the fact that I personally was sex trafficked by my own stepmother, I mean, that is what they call familial sex trafficking. But there's so much with the internet, and young, not only girls, but boys also, are being lured in. And so like if they have any type of family situation that's not comfortable, then they'll, make the people who like lure them in on the computer, they make it sound like it's the worst thing, and they convince them to leave, and then they get into the situation, and then they can't get out.
Now, I'm glad that you have been able to find the courage to tell your story, and you are definitely inspiring many women across the country and potentially internationally as well. Now, yes. We can read up on your book on your website, which is the title of the book right here.
Yes, it's called A Journey Back to Restoration.com, and I also put my happenings, my travels, and my experiences on my my Facebook page, which is just Sarah Isaac-Samuel. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for stopping by today and telling us about your book.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And anybody watching out there, A Journey Back to Restoration, it's out. Grab a copy. And we'll see you next time on Community Media.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
Hi, I had a very minor fender bender tonight in an unreasonably narrow fast food drive-thru lane. Don't worry, I have everything handled. I already spoke to our Allstate agent, and I know that we have accident forgiveness, which is so smart on your guys' part. Like the fact that they'll
4 weeks without the car.
Okay, yep, good night.
With accident forgiveness, your rates won't go up just because of an accident. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Visit your local Allstate agent, the McNeilis Agency in Hazleton at 1092 North Church Street, or in Hometown in the Hometown Village Square.
Tune in every Sunday night on WYLN from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for hard-hitting, high-flying, non-stop action as only Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling High Voltage can bring you. That's Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling every Sunday night on WYLN. I'll see you in the ring.
Looking for information on the coronavirus pandemic? Make sure it's from a reliable source. Go to WYLNTV.com and click on the Lehigh Valley Health Network banner for the real facts about the coronavirus pandemic. And watch WYLN News live at 5:30 for updates on this ongoing crisis. The source matters now more than ever. WYLN, we're your local network.
Hazleton Public Transit announced some route changes and Easter holiday hours. Effective Tuesday, March 7th, the Route 85 loop will end at 7:14 p.m., while Route 110 Saturday night loop will end service at 6:45 p.m. There's also no bus service Sunday, April 12th, in observance of the Easter holiday. The HPT office will be closed from Friday, April 10th through Monday, April 13th. Office hours will resume Tuesday, April 14th. The Ringtown Food Pantry, in cooperation with the Ringtown Rotary and St. Paul's and St. John's churches, are now offering food for area youth. The project includes food bags provided by the North Schuylkill School District and food donated and prepared by volunteers. Items are available by pickup Mondays through Fridays from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. from the basement of St. John's Lutheran Church on Main Street. For more information, call 973-906-9636. A tiger at the Bronx Zoo tested positive for COVID-19, believed to be the first known infection in an animal. The 4-year-old Malayan tiger, along with 6 other tigers and lions, have also fallen ill and are believed to have been infected by a zoo employee. The first animal started showing symptoms March 27th, but all are expected to recover. The zoo's been closed to the public since March 16th. The coronavirus outbreaks around the world are transmitted person to person, but this raises the question about virus transmission in animals. That's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. You can get news updates on our WYLN News Facebook page or WYLNTV.com by clicking the LVHN banner for the real facts about COVID-19. Stay with us. Look at today's weather is next here on WYLN TV.
You've seen university advertising. A student like me